everyone, thanks for joining me. This video is about all things cushion. I have 3 cushion foundations to talk about, also a cushion blush and a cushion eyeliner. So this trend is huge right now. I thought this would be a good opportunity to show you everything tried on. So I'll be trying on all the foundations, the blush, the eyeliner, reviewing them for you, showing some before and afters, just gonna try to be as complete as I can in this video. So if this idea is completely new to you, what is a cushion anyway? Well, a lot of the products seem to have a format a lot like this, where you've got a sponge, a pretty soft sponge in a compact, and that sponge has been completely saturated with whatever the product might be. But I think the important thing to keep in mind with these foundations is that it's liquid foundation. You know, it's not a different product than what you've probably been using for years. It's just a different delivery method. They're giving it to you in a compact, which the claims for this might be that it's easier to use on the go or for touch-ups. For me, that claim doesn't really interest me so much because I'm never really one who's looking to touch up my foundation. Another benefit that foundations like this will claim to have is that, you know, they're buildable and they're just an easier application maybe than the standard liquid that you might pour or pump out of a bottle. And I can see that. I mean, as far as just opening them up, you could use the little puff that's provided. They all have a very similar style puff here. I find that I prefer either using a brush or a larger beauty blender type sponge to apply these, just because I feel like the application is faster and more even with that. Not saying you couldn't do this with this product, or if you did want to touch it up, I mean, this would probably be the way to go. But I always feel like with a smaller sponge like this, I apply a little more pressure and it just isn't the most even application, and I do think that affects the coverage. But again, talking about how buildable they are, you know, if you decide, okay, I want a little more coverage than I initially got from this product, you can just dip your brush or your sponge right back into the product and continue building it up on your skin, as opposed to, you know, pumping out more foundation, maybe getting it on your hand first or getting it on a palette first and then scraping it or scooping it off of there and getting it on your face. I can see how there's a little added convenience factor from that angle with these products. In this video, I'll be talking about the cushion foundations from Physicians Formula. This is called the Mineral Wear Talc-Free All-in-One ABC Cushion Foundation with SPF 50. I've also got the one from Lancome, which is called Miracle Cushion, and the one from L'Oreal, which is the True Match Lumi Cushion Buildable Luminous Foundation. Something all of these have in common, they all give me this luminous look to the skin. You know, they're a little bit glowy, and none of them seem to have sparkle or shimmer, so I love that. But I'll notice just this little bit of sheen on my skin after I apply them, and I actually think it looks really pretty. I think it's very well done in all 3 of the products. While I do find all of these to be buildable, you know, if I add more product, I can see more coverage, but what you're also going to see when you build up a slightly luminous foundation is more glow the more product you add. But as a whole, I really enjoy these products and this concept. I do think it's very easy to use. I get a quick foundation application. I find all of them to be buildable, although they don't all get me to exactly the same place, which I'll explain in just a second. I feel like these all give right around medium coverage. The Physicians Formula, definitely on the lighter end. If this is medium coverage, it's just working its way into that category. And then these, I think, very similar with the L'Oreal and the Lancome in terms of giving me a solid medium coverage. So let's just talk specifics already with each one of these. First off, the Physicians Formula, adorable packaging. I love that they went blue with it. It has this kind of quilted look on the front. Got the mirror, the sponge. All of these cushions have this sort of sub cap that's keeping that cushion from drying out. I have this in the shade light medium, and this does have an SPF 50. As you see demos with these, I use the same brush for each one. I cleaned it off in between, but I use my Sigma F80. I like the way flat top brushes can just easily, boom, dip into this product, pick it up, and just nice even application. So I thought I would keep that sort of a constant with all of these as I showed them to you. But anyway, when I dip into this one, I feel like even from when it was brand new, the sponge was not quite as saturated with product as the Lancome and the L'Oreal. Not that I struggled to get a lot off on my brush, but with the others, I just needed one dip and I could get like an entire side of my face done and feel like, you know, that was decent coverage for me. Also, if you were to just swatch all of these out on your skin and just feel the product and really just look at how it lays down, this seems to be a thinner product. It almost strikes me as like a serum and foundation mix, or closer to like a BB cream type thing. When I look at the L'Oreal and the Lancome swatched out, they look like straight up foundation. I think this is a light coverage building to like the low end of the medium scale. Once you get it all blended out all over your skin, you see that little bit of a glow that I think is characteristic of all of these cushion foundations for whatever reason. But when I see this all over my skin, I'm happy with how it overall evens out the skin tone. You know, there may still be little areas like the under eye where I want to correct with a little concealer. I do like this product. I just think unlike the others, this one takes a little more work. If you're wanting more coverage, you just have to add a little bit more of this product. And I should also point out, I feel like all of these wear very similarly on me. I've really been watching the staying power, and I feel like product stays on my skin all day. I never feel like I've had a total breakdown in any one spot on my face. But if I don't set these with some powder on the T-zone, I will have some oil issues around the nose. And I'm a normal skin type. I'm not overly oily. I've been trying to test these over the past few weeks, both with and without powder, and I think the powder is a must for most people, outside of maybe the driest of the dry. I do think the powder is helpful right after you apply. If I was going to go somewhere and I wanted my foundation to look its best, I would probably blot over it again like late afternoon. Now, as far as the Lancome and the L'Oreal, this is the Miracle Cushion here from Lancome. I have it in 220 Buff C, and then I have the L'Oreal in N4, which is called Buff Beige. I just feel like there are so many similarities between these two. Basically identical finishes on the skin. First off, when you get them applied, they really look the same. As you can see with the Lancome here, it's kind of a little bit larger compact. You take your sponge out and you've again got that little snap open lid. When I was applying this, I just took my Sigma brush, I give it one dab into the product, and I just feel like it's more foundation-like than the Physicians Formula. And I think it evens out the skin tone quickly, easily. I don't feel the need to build up a lot of extra product. I would call it straight up medium coverage. It still leaves the need for concealer in some areas. You know, that kind of varies by the day in terms of how much I might need on the under eye, or if I've got a blemish or something. Those kinds of issues will still show through to an extent, but as far as the overall skin tone, I love the way this looks. Now I'll jump right into the L'Oreal Lumi because I feel like, again, there are so many similarities between these two. This one, the shade I have is just a little bit deep for my skin tone, but we're making it work for the purposes of this video, this demo. Like I said, I got this in N4, and much like the Lancome, I just dip my brush in, I swirl it, buff it all over my skin. I feel like it quickly goes to medium coverage without, you know, dipping back in more and more. You could add more foundation and potentially get even more coverage, but I don't necessarily want that much of a glow on my skin because you get more glow as a result of that too. So I get this blended out all over my skin, really happy with the way it looks. I mean, I just can't really complain, and I've been a fan of the Lumi liquid foundation in the traditional bottle format, and I really think this is a lot like that, just a little easier to apply. And the other day I was wearing these like half and half on my face, really trying to see what are the differences. Surely there's some big difference that I'm missing, you know, between these two. That's what I've been thinking, but I really can't come up with it. The foundations themselves have that same kind of lightweight, thin consistency, but yet still foundation-like. Overall, pleasantly surprised with all of these. As I described, I think the Physicians Formula is the lightest coverage, requires the most work if you want to build it up, so this is not one I'd probably look to repurchase, although I'll continue using it on and off, and I'll keep it in the rotation for myself. These two, really like them both. When I use them up, if it comes down to repurchasing, I would repurchase the L'Oreal just because it's less expensive, and on my skin it really gives the same look. Maybe on different skin types, more of a difference would stand out between these two. I'm not certain. So while I've got favorable things to say about those foundations, this blush, this is from Philosophy. This is called Take a Deep Breath, and it's Cushion Color for Cheeks. This I'm not so much a fan of. First off, totally different cushion format here. You've got this little like netting going across the opening of the product, and then just straight up liquid blush that comes up through. And I realize this product is pretty new. There's a lot of juiciness kind of coming up through, but a lot of product comes up here to the cap, so I don't even feel the need to touch this part because there's just so much product there, and I can just sweep whatever I would need off of the cap. And the way they say to apply it is to just use your fingers and swirl it on your cheeks. I did not like the look of that at all. I felt like it instantly broke down the foundation underneath. It's just too wet. Your finger has to apply too much pressure, and that combination, I mean, it was like there was no foundation underneath it, and I had just this kind of splotch of blush there. The shade I have it in is shade 4.5, which is this soft pink. I think there were 4 shades total. Every shade that I swatched there in Ulta had glitter in it. Glitter, why? I mean, philosophy? I was surprised to see a brand like this put out this product with little flecks of glitter in it. Not just shimmer, not just a pearlescent finish, but little bits of glitter that can actually be seen. Like I can see I've got kind of a stain of the product on my hand from where I applied, and I'm definitely seeing the little bits of glitter. Don't understand that whatsoever, don't like it at all. It's unfortunate because the color is beautiful. I mean, don't you think this is kind of a fresh, like baby's blush kind of a, I don't know, would work for a lot of people type of color? The way I do make this work application wise is I use a brush. I use my e.l.f. small stipple brush, which really makes pretty much any liquid cream product work for me, blush and highlight wise. And I don't dip it right into the product because I would have way too much on the brush. So I get a little bit out on my finger, I put it on my hand, I dip onto that, and then swirl it out on my cheeks. And that makes the application pretty easy. And I feel like it's more lightweight. I don't think it broke down the foundation underneath. So this definitely solves some problems for me. And from a distance, I think the look is fine. But when I look up close, I can see little bits of glitter, and I just don't like that. And for the price tag of this product, I feel like I should really be enjoying it, you know? If you think you might like a more liquid consistency foundation, I'm a big fan of the Becca Beach Tints, which are just in little squeezy tubes, and there's some really nice shades in that line. There's a raspberry color that I really love, and I think those are easy to work with. They look really fresh on the skin, but they do not have glitter. Now for eyeliner, this is my eyeliner here. It's from Physicians Formula. It's called the Eye Booster 2-in-1 Lash Boosting Cushion Eyeliner Plus Serum. Now this eye booster line is not new to Physicians Formula. They also make this liner pen that I've talked about before that has the nice little brush tip. So the way the packaging is, I've seen this style of packaging with other products here and there, but you've got your cushion in the same style it was in with the foundation. So an actual sponge is there. It's saturated with basically a liquid cream type liner. Maybe a thinned out cream would be the best way to put that. And then on the cap, you've got your little brush here, and I like to put the end back in the cap so I've got a little something more to hold on to. But you can of course use any brush you want to dip into this product. When I first used this, I thought, oh my gosh, this is so simple, because I was comparing this to different cream gel liners that I've used in the past, and I feel like with those, whenever you're dipping in, one doesn't simply just dip into a cream or gel liner with their brush and just boop and then right to the eye. I feel like I'm always taking a second to make sure my brush didn't get overloaded, you know, getting a little excess off of there, and then going back to my eye. And then anytime I want to apply more, or if I need to go back to the product, you repeat that same little step. With this, I loved how I could just take this brush, dip directly in here a couple times, and then go at it. And I thought this was so nicely saturated with product. It was like no-brainer, dip in and go. Plus, it looked really nice and black going across the lash line. Just very intense, great ease of use. I was a fan. I'm using the term was because that was my experience with the first couple of applications. After that, and I've had this for about a week and a half, after that point, this has gotten quite a bit drier, and I feel like for that short span of time, I shouldn't be experiencing that already. This is one reason why I don't do first impression videos, because if I did a first impression on this, I would have given this an absolute rave. And now with a little time and testing, I can see I don't like it so much. I really feel like I'm dipping into a different product now. This is nowhere near as saturated as it was when I first got it. And just to get it across the lash line, the amount of times I have to dip back in to thicken out my line, it just feels dry going across my lash line. line, like when you're using a cream or gel liner that's just about dried out. Now, while I can swatch this out on my hand and have pretty good staying power with that swatch, and I find that it sets and it looks matte and I can rub across it and it doesn't go anywhere, with wear on my eyes, it's a little bit different story. Anytime I have this on, and I'm not looking forward to this later in the day, but the part that's around the inner corner always transfers down. It will transfer to the lower like tear duct area and look black right in the tear duct and just below. It's not a cute look. It does not look intentional. It looks like, okay, somebody's got smudgy eyeliner. So I was really surprised to see that, considering how well a swatch could wear on my hand, but I guess it's just the moisture in that area, and I hadn't been crying, I hadn't been rubbing my eyes, but it just did that. Much like foundation, eyeliner is not the kind of thing I like to think I have to spend any time later in the day touching up. You know, I expect it to just stay in place. I have so many eyeliners that flawlessly stay in place. This other one from Physicians Formula, love it. Has not caused me any drama, any problems. But this one, I was just so surprised that it would feel so drastically dry after just about a week and a half of use. You know, the first 2, maybe 3 times I thought, wow, I love this. This is so quick. Dip into it, boom, go across the lash line, and now it's already starting to feel dry. So bottom line with this video, cushions. Are they good? I do think they are really performing well with the foundation products. I have enjoyed these. I'm going to keep using these. I think for someone who likes a little bit of a luminous finish on the skin, you're going to love the way these come off. My favorite of the bunch for just the overall look and then taking the cost and the value of the product into consideration, the L'Oreal True Match Lumi would be my recommendation, because you're going to save some money compared to the Lancome and you're going to get better coverage compared to Physicians Formula. But for the blush, I don't feel like the cushion format really does it any favors. I don't find it to be absolutely necessary. With the Physicians Formula, maybe it's just a matter of tweaking that formula to where it can stay a little more moist or something, or maybe it's just drying out, because like I'm not leaving it open overnight, but it's got to stay open for a certain period of time as I apply it. So if it could dry down a little less in the container, that would be awesome. If I ever see this product come out and they claim new and improved formula, I might try it again. But I hope this video helped you out. Thank you so much for taking time to watch. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.